Welcome to this video. In this, we discuss about the origin and development of Jewish diaspora and the major challenges faced by the Jewish diaspora. Jewish diaspora represents one of the most significant and persistent human migrations in history. The Jewish diaspora originated in the land of Canaan and attained the current status of a global community. The Jews traveled more than 3 millennia. They succeeded several challenges. The Jewish diaspora is a symbol of cultural preservation and persistence of identity. They preserve their culture despite the heavy ups and downs in their history. Let's see the origin of Jewish diaspora. They originated in the ancient land of Canaan, which is today Israel and Palestine. The Jewish descended from the biblical patriarch Abraham, who brought his family to Canaan in around 1800 BCE. Eventually, they developed as a distinctive tribal community with distinctive monotheistic religion called Judaism. They endured numerous conquests and exiles. In the Middle Ages, Jewish communities in the Middle East made substantial contributions to science, philosophy, and literature. The Jewish intellectuals and traders used their commercial channels to link the diaspora, building networks for knowledge sharing and cultural dissemination. There are several factors that contributed to the geographical dispersion of the Jews and the expansion of their diaspora communities. They are, first, expulsion. The Jews were expelled from their homeland. There were political difficulties and religious persecution in Palestine. And besides, there was internal divisions in Jewish society. Also, there was attracting economic prospects in other nations that prompted the Jewish people to migrate. Let's see the major challenges the Jewish community faced. The Jewish diaspora had many difficulties during the Middle Ages. The Jews were driven from a number of European nations. These countries included England, France, and Spain. The Jews were driven away from all these countries. So the Jews they were compelled to seek safety in other countries. And apart from this, many Jewish communities, especially in Spain and Portugal, were forcefully converted to other religions. And also they were expelled from the countries. The Holocaust, that's the dark episode of world history that happened in the 20th century, was the most tragic period in the history of Jewish diaspora. Around 6 million Jews were ruthlessly killed by the Nazi regime in extermination camps, concentration camps, and ghettos. No other diasporas in the world there's no other community in the world who have been subject to such a inhuman experience. The Jewish communities were destroyed throughout Europe. Following the World War II, the Jewish identity and the need for a country re-emerged. When the state of Israel was created in ancient Palestine in 1948, It became a shelter for Jews across the globe who were looking for safety and for a focal point for the ambitions of the Jewish diaspora. When the state of Israel was created in ancient Palestine in 1948, it became a shelter for all the Jews who were looking for safety. It also became a focal point for the ambitions of the Jewish diaspora. Creation of Israel brought about difficult geopolitical issues and conflicts in the area, which changed the dynamics of Jewish diaspora across the globe. The Jewish diaspora faced a lot of issues. In the host countries, the problems of preservation of Jewish identity and cultural tradition. In the host countries, the Jewish diaspora faced several issues in the preservation of their cultural tradition and identity. Even if the issues they faced decreased in intensity, they still face several forms of discrimination and they feel vulnerable. In spite of this number of challenges and obstacles, the Jewish diaspora has adapted and flourished in various socio-cultural economic contexts. And it prevails now and continues to make substantial contributions, not just to industries, but to science, technology, arts, and finance. Jews are the leading industrialists in the USA. They have an upper hand in the US economy, not just in the US, in the major economies across the globe, through which they exert significant influence in policy making, both national and international levels. The Jews still preserve Judaism as a living religion, and they are successful in maintaining their cultural tradition. And due to this vigor, the Jewish customs, holidays, and traditions are all observed across the globe. And this continuity of tradition gives the dispersed group, the dispersed Jewish diaspora, a sense of continuity and integrity. And this cultural tradition, this continuity of cultural tradition gives the dispersed Jewish diaspora a sense of continuity and cohesion. The tale of Jewish diaspora is one of the greatest sagas of survival. The Jews show an unbreakable spirit of a people united by religion, history, and culture. The Jewish diaspora is a prime example of how human identity endures and how culture has the ability to cut across generations and geographic boundaries. The connection between Jews living abroad and their homeland continues to be stronger than that of other non-communities. So we have seen that the story of Jewish diaspora is a golden episode in the history of diasporas.